The same Jukebox who shocked fans with her ruthless actions in the original Powers series. And the same Jukebox whose younger story we saw developing in Raising Kanan. Now the real question is whether Power Origins is secretly preparing to bring her back into the story much earlier than fans expected. And if that turns out to be true, it could completely change the way we look at the early days of Ghost, Tommy, and Kanan. Power Origins is one of the most talked about upcoming projects in the Power universe, and the reason is simple. This show will take fans back to the very beginning, long before Ghost became the powerful nightclub owner everyone feared, long before Tommy became one of the most dangerous partners in the drug business. Power Origins is expected to explore their teenage years and the early days of their rise in the streets of New York. Fans have always wondered how Ghost and Tommy first got pulled into that world. We know they eventually became major players, but the early steps of that journey have never been fully shown. That is exactly what this new series plans to reveal. And because the story is set so early in the timeline, it opens the door for many familiar characters to appear in younger versions. Characters that were already part of the streets during that time period could easily cross paths with young Ghost and Tommy. That is why the theory about Jukebox appearing in the series is starting to feel more believable. When fans heard about Power Origins, most of the early discussions focused on Ghost and Tommy. After all, they were the heart of the original show. But the Power universe has always been built around connected characters and complicated relationships. No one exists in isolation. Every character has a history that links back to someone else. Kanan was one of the most important figures in Ghost and Tommy's past, and his story has already been explored deeply in Raising Kanan. Through that show, fans also saw the younger version of Jukebox and how her life slowly started to change. She was not always the cold and dangerous person that fans remember from the original Powers series. In Raising Kanan, she was shown as someone dealing with family pressure, personal struggles, and the harsh reality of growing up in a difficult environment. Watching that transformation happen made fans even more interested in her character. Because of this, many viewers believe the story of Jukebox is far from finished. Her connection to Kanan alone makes her important to the overall timeline. And since Power Origins will likely explore the early years when Kanan was already active in the streets, it would make sense for Jukebox to exist somewhere in that world too. She might not be directly connected to Ghost and Tommy at first, but the streets of South Jamaica were small, and everyone eventually crossed paths. This is where the speculation begins to grow. Fans believe that if the writers truly want to show how dangerous the streets were during that time, introducing Jukebox could be one of the most powerful ways to do it. Her presence alone changes the tone of any story she appears in. Another reason this theory is gaining so much attention is because 50 Cent himself has a long history of teasing major surprises before they become official. Over the years, he has used social media to hint at new characters, new shows, and even shocking twists before fans had any confirmation. Sometimes the hints were very obvious, and sometimes they were hidden in small details that people only noticed later. Because of that pattern, fans now pay close attention to everything he posts. When the teaser connected to Power Origins appeared, people immediately started asking whether it was just a simple announcement, or if it was actually pointing towards something bigger. What makes the situation even more interesting is the timing. Raising Kanan has already built the foundation for several characters that could move into other parts of the Power Universe timeline. The writers clearly understand that fans enjoy seeing how different stories connect. So bringing Jukebox into Power Origins would not feel random at all. Instead, it would feel like a natural continuation of the larger story that the Power franchise has been telling for years. If the show truly wants to explore the dangerous environment that shaped Ghost and Tommy, then including characters who were already part of that world could make the story feel much more real. At the same time, nothing has been officially confirmed yet, which only adds to the mystery. Fans are left trying to read between the lines. searching for clues and trying to figure out whether the teaser really means something. But one thing is certain. The idea of Jukebox appearing in Power Origins has already captured the imagination of the fanbase. If it happens, it could introduce a darker and more intense layer to the early story of Ghost and Tommy. And if 50 Cent's teaser truly was a hidden hint, then fans may have already seen the first clue about one of the most surprising character returns in the Power universe. The theory about Jukebox appearing in Power Origins started getting serious when fans began looking closely at the teaser shared by 50 Cent. At first glance, it looked like a normal promotion for the upcoming series. He has posted many short previews and hints about the Power universe before, so nothing seemed unusual in the beginning. But the Power fanbase has a habit of studying every small detail, and that is exactly what happened this time. People began replaying the teaser, reading the caption again and again, and trying to understand if there was a hidden meaning behind it. The moment fans noticed certain details, the conversation quickly turned toward one character who has always been deeply connected to the early street world of the Power timeline. That character is Jukebox. For longtime viewers of the franchise, Jukebox is not just another side character. She is one of the most unpredictable and dangerous people ever shown in the Power universe. When she first appeared in Power, fans immediately realized she was different from everyone else. Her actions were cold, calculated, and sometimes shocking even for a show that was already full of violence and betrayal. Because of that, her character left a strong impression on the audience. Even though her time in the original series was limited, people continued talking about her long after those episodes aired. Years later, the Power franchise expanded with Power Book 3, Raising Kanan, which explored the early life of Kanan's start. That show gave viewers a completely different version of Jukebox. Instead of the ruthless woman seen in the original story, fans saw a younger version who was still trying to find her place in the world. She had dreams, emotions, and struggles that made her more human. Watching that transformation slowly begin made her storyline one of the most interesting parts of the series. It also reminded fans that Jukebox's journey was far from simple because of this background. When 50 Cent released the teaser connected to Power Origins, some viewers immediately wondered if the franchise was preparing to continue that storyline. The teaser itself did not clearly mention Jukebox by name. However, fans believe certain parts of it could be pointing toward characters connected to Kanan's world, since Jukebox is one of the closest people tied to Kanan's past. Her name naturally became part of the conversation. Another reason fans started focusing on this possibility is the timeline. Power Origins is expected to take place during the early years of James St. Patrick and Tommy Egan. During that time, Kanan was already becoming involved in the street life that later shaped all three of their futures. Since Jukebox is Kanan's cousin and someone who grew up around the same environment, it would not be strange for her to exist somewhere within that same timeline, even if she is not directly connected to Ghost and Tommy in the beginning. The streets they were all part of often forced different crews and families to interact. Fans also pointed out that 50 Cent enjoys building excitement by dropping hints, instead of giving direct answers. Over the years, he has teased new spin-offs, new characters, and even big plot twists through social media posts. Sometimes those hints seemed small at first, but later turned out to be real clues about upcoming stories. Because of that history, viewers now watch every teaser very carefully. They believe that if he posts something related to the Power universe, there is usually more meaning behind it. Another interesting detail is how the Power franchise often connects characters across different shows. When Power Book 2, Ghost was introduced, it continued the story from the original show while bringing in new faces. The same thing happened when Raising Kanan expanded the timeline backward. This pattern shows that the creators enjoy building a world where multiple stories overlap. If Power Origins continues that approach, it would make sense to include characters who already have established connections in the franchise. For many fans, Jukebox represents one of the most complex characters in that world. Her story is full of emotional conflict, family struggles, and the harsh influence of the streets around H.